Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Ripple XRP price chart. It is a wild green day over there in the cryptocurrency market. Obviously, we are in alt season. Bitcoin dominance is just in an absolute free fall. And for a lot of us, like if you're new to this market, you have to understand we waited a very, very long time for that to finally start happening. So we're finally seeing the Bitcoin dominance just in a complete free fall, which of course means that we're in alt season. And we're seeing that obviously over here on the right side of the screen with a lot of these altcoins really popping off. But over the last couple of weeks, XRP has been kind of staying a little bit still, right? Funny enough, we're kind of getting kind of a pop here while I'm recording, but let's talk about what's been going on with XRP. And essentially, we're just having a typical consolidation happening here. And that's where it came up to the 702 Fibonacci retracement level and then needed further consolidation before breaking out. I don't know if it's going to break out right here, right now. Sure would be amazing if it would. We just saw that happen with Bitcoin Cash. We've seen that happen with Ethereum Classic. We're seeing it happen in a lot of places. But in the end, I have to say, okay, I still think that, XRP is going to continue going up much higher. What's going to happen in the short-term time frame, we're all just kind of subject to whatever happens in the market. But a lot of what I've talked about on my channel, a lot of what I've talked about in my course, all kind of ties back to what's going on with Bitcoin right now. And so we're kind of getting more information that's really kind of showed up here in the last day of what's happening with Bitcoin. And really, we'll get even more information if we start seeing a pull down a little bit further in Bitcoin. You may be saying, why are we talking about this if we're talking about XRP? And it comes back to talking about what's happened in the previous Bitcoin bull runs and the previous cryptocurrency cycles and alt seasons, is that if this is the top of Bitcoin, right, we have to go into it with this mindset, hey, like there's this chance that's the top of Bitcoin. And we're finishing up this whole bull run for Bitcoin right now, is that in the last cycle, we had an ABC correction that took place right in there. And you could see that we had our first A, our B, and then our C. And right in here is where the lagging altcoins really started to explode huge. And same goes for XRP. So we see that we had a big fall from the top, A, B, C. Well, if we head over to what's happening right now, we talked about it a lot for the structures of a top coming in. It came in just a little bit short, but Coinbase did IPO there. So we have to keep in our mind, there's the chance that was the top of Bitcoin. And if we're seeing an A, B, C come in here, well, we're seeing a lot of the signs happen over here on this side of the screen with a lot of these altcoins starting to take off right now. And with the Bitcoin dominance taking a huge tumble right now, we can see if we zoom in on this closer that this did not do a full 702 Fibonacci retracement, which is typical, kind of getting right up here to the 618 Fib level. And typically what we'll see, these things continue to fall down a little bit further. They can come all the way down without crossing below, but even a little bit lower, and then heading its way back up in here. Now, I can't guarantee you that's what's going to happen or tell you the future if that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm telling you what we've seen before. The height that Bitcoin got to would make logical sense to be a top. While coming in a little bit short, still, we're in this area that could be considered a top. It also made the structures, right? We also have this new low being set right in here. And we're also seeing a lot of these altcoins really starting to explode as this structure is happening over here with Bitcoin. Whether this is an ABC or not, it's doing what we've seen happen in previous cycles, that after the top comes in, initial fall, and then in the ABC structure, we see the alt season really go crazy. We've seen Ethereum go incredibly high. We've seen Ethereum Classic break out into new all-time highs. And in this time period right in here, back in 2017 and in 2013, this is where XRP went on its massive bull run. So in the coming days and in the coming weeks, you'll see me revert back to this over and over again. I don't know if this is how it's going to play out, but this is what's going to be a big thing on my radar for me making exits. Watching what happens in here. Watching if Ethereum Classic or Bitcoin Cash or EOS or XRP are reaching out to their targets when Bitcoin is doing something like this. And right when Bitcoin gets back into the 702 region or 786 or just up in here, if suddenly those things are all hitting their targets, it's telling a story. If we go based on what the previous stories have told us, that after that moment, that Bitcoin's going to really start moving to the downside after that. And that this moment right here would be the end of alt season. So in the previous cycles, XRP reached off to hit its top in that moment when Bitcoin was going through that retrace after it already topped. So if we're looking to go to somewhere like, let's just say $10, right, from our current location right now, $10 would be about a 540% gain. Is that unrealistic? Well, we're seeing that happen throughout the rest of the market. We're seeing that happen over there in Ethereum Classic. We're seeing, like, let's look at how high this rise has been right here. This rise has been 820%. How about just this rise of this entire wave right in here? This rise right there, that was 431%. So it's a pretty big rise, but it would be like, a blow off top, which is what we see in 2013 and in 2017, that they're blow off top endings, and blow off top endings can be incredibly euphoric, wild, fast, and really just happen in a blink of an eye. And most likely what happens is a pretty good narrative is attached with it at the time that kind of leaves you kind of shell shocked at the moment to where you don't know what to do. Prices are moving up incredibly fast. There's also this insane narrative going along with it at the same time. And then mix in if you have a lot of friends on social media, or you're getting phone calls and a lot of people are saying, hold on, I'm holding, I'm not letting go, right? Social media and your peers can highly influence decision making at that time as well, because what happens is everybody's super excited. So from all the measurements that we've done throughout the last year and a half, saying, hey, there's still one more pop to the upside that says, 10 to $13 price range, right? That one we keep talking about for so long, it's still there, right? Still needs to be reached out. And do we still see further opportunity over there in Bitcoin, indicating that there's still a further rise in the altcoins and that big moment for XRP is still coming? Yes, we still see that. We still see that the retracement or the ABC correction of Bitcoin still has not completed itself. And it was during the previous cycles that when we got into that C wave, or when we got into that big retracement back up, that's when the top of XRP came in. So I know sometimes when the rest of the market is popping off and when XRP is kind of staying still for a little while, people get kind of frustrated on that. But I always have to look at the broader perspective of the market and say what's going on elsewhere, right? We're still waiting for that big moment of Bitcoin to do the ABC correction if the top of Bitcoin is in. And truthfully, we won't know that until Bitcoin's just crashing, if that really was the top, right? Then we could sit there and say, well, there's our confirmations that it was. But zooming in on XRP, we can see nothing unusual is happening in here, right? So we'll do this real quick. We can see that we had a 702 Fibonacci retracement followed by consolidation. We can go back to our previous move that we just recently had. We can see that we did the same thing, right? We had our pull down, our crash, our retrace, our reaccumulation, our blast out, right? So retraced back to the 702, then had further consolidation. Whether or not this consolidation will take as long as that, I have no clue. I think a lot of this is really just tied to what's happening with Bitcoin, so we're at the mercy of that. And through the bear market, I know a lot of people didn't like hearing that kind of stuff, that we're subject to whatever the market is doing. And I think we all have to kind of acknowledge that at this point, that this whole bull run that's happening throughout the cryptocurrency is not tied to some type of utility, right? This is just a market cycle. This is just a market going crazy. This is speculation. This is hype. This is euphoria. This is excitement. And so we're following typically what happens in previous market cycles. And so Bitcoin, in my opinion, is playing a big role in XRP's price discovery. And until proven otherwise, I will continue to follow that thought process. So right now we're kind of in like this boring moment for XRP until it can break through that $1.66 level. And really, I'd like to see it get through $1.75, because that would be the last Fibonacci retracement. And that's when we can start seeing it really start to kind of get on out of there. And hopefully, based on what happened in our previous cycles and where we're located at right now, this is that big grand finale that comes where XRP breaks out into a new all-time high and goes crazy. Again, I reiterate this like multiple times a week. Of course, I always say, there's that support level down there at, 75, 80 cents. I wouldn't be surprised if we're kind of ABCing in here before we get there. So for me, in the back of my mind, I say there's two things happening here. Either we're consolidating before we're breaking out to higher levels, or we've retraced to the 702 for our B wave and we have to go down and do our C. Either way, right? So for people who are new to this market, if it did pull down that deep, right? If it pulled down to 75 cents, that's a 50% loss from current pricing right now. That would inflict a lot of pain on people. For me, I'm just a holder because I have this bigger vision of where it's all going. So short-term pain doesn't matter to me. I'm here for long-term gain. And I always like to reiterate that that's down there, even if it doesn't ever get down there, because the people who are long-term holders of XRP have had to suffer through that kind of stuff multiple times. But if you ask them if holding through it all worked out for them, they would tell you, yes, it did work out for them, even though it was incredibly painful at the time. Of course, I can't guarantee that, right? I can't guarantee it will turn out okay, but that's how I'm playing my cards, right? I'm a holder. I've been a holder through the whole thing. I haven't sold any of my XRP. I'm just holding on to them. I held them through the SEC crash. I held them through the C19 scare of March of 2020, and I've held them through all of this. It's sitting at $1.56 right now. That feels pretty good. We spent a lot of time in the teens and the 20s, but holding even through the crazy volatility ended up paying off for me. So if we do see some big pullback to that support level at 75 to 80, I won't be surprised by it, but I also won't be scared by it. And hopefully that just isn't even in the cards, and we can all just celebrate and not have to live through one more of those types of moments, and that we are just going to completely break out of here and get going. But as we're in this consolidation period, we're kind of just in this boring time period. It's going to be boring until it's not. And I think when it's not, that's when we get above $1.66. And then we probably start live stream at $1.75 and we start rocket ship emojiing. But yeah, if you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about with that support level a little bit lower, it's that one way down in there. That's a level that held us down for 3 years that we broke out from. There's a chance that, hey, we just found our support right in here and that's good enough. We're good to go. But in the back of my mind, I have to always keep that one because it was such a big one. It was one that kept us down since May of 2018, literally 3 years ago from right now. So in the back of my mind, it's always there. And the thing I'm waiting for to not really be worried about that any longer is for us to just get out of here, right? If we can get through these retracements, I start letting my guard down. If it even touches half of a cent higher than that price level right up in there, then my concerns are completely let go of worrying about it going down lower. I think we'll be in that big move. But otherwise, it's just kind of where we're at right now for XRP. We're still in consolidation right now. We're waiting for that big next move up, the breakout into all-time high, like we're starting to see happen with other altcoins in the market. And I'm keeping a close eye over here to see if this is what we're doing over here on Bitcoin, because that's what we did at the top of the 2017 bull run. And we're just so happening to have the Bitcoin dominance completely fall apart right in here. But there's no question, we are living in alt season. And as the days progress for the XRP price chart, that's really just the thing I'm looking for. It's that we are ranging in here, and ranges can take a while. If Bitcoin has a little bit lower to go on that B leg, then, well, we'd probably see XRP fall down with it as well to, like we talked about last week, that $1.16, $1.15 to $1.20 price level. But in the end, the excitement really gets turned on once these price levels can start getting cleared. That $1.65 to $1.75 price area, that is where our big resistance is at here for the XRP price chart. And while a lot of people may get beat down because there's other things that are taking off earlier or they've gotten higher, or when we look at the total altcoin market cap, just like this, right? Super, super high, right? And yet XRP is still really low. Just know that in previous market cycles, we've been through time periods like this before, and there hasn't been a circumstance, there hasn't been, where the market did something like this and XRP didn't go on the moon mission with it. It has gone on the moon mission with it every time. So you would have to believe that this time is different. And for me, I never go with the assumption of this time is different. I stick to my guns in that this time will be the same, and that every time the market does this, XRP does it too. Otherwise, it's a pretty exciting time out in there in the market today, man. There's a lot of green out there on the board. So I'm sure people are itching for me to put together a video on a couple of those other assets I occasionally talk about. So I'll try to get something like that out later this week. But otherwise, I'm going to wrap this one up. I want to let you guys know where my mind is at for XRP right now, as we are just consolidating below that 702 Fibonacci retracement. So hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like, of course, you could check out my website. This is bcbacker.crypto. This is my course where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs, the different altcoin market cycles, tying them all together to show how the alt seasons have occurred, where they've occurred. I talk about my personal exit plans. I talk about rotation, mathematics, percentages, how to set up your own charts in TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. I have included some recent updates in there, like I've been talking about here on my channel, that I've worked my Ethereum exit plan, and then I did add had an update down in here on April 30th. Bitcoin stuck, altcoin market jumps upward. This is all available to people who are already enrolled in the course, so you can log in and watch those. And of course, those are available to people who newly enroll in the course over here on bcbacker.com. You could follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor, but if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.